Rise and shine, nerds.
You're tuned in to the Back Row Morning Show, a Monday through Thursday morning show for LTN Radio, and proudly a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo. We're caffeine-fueled and ready to talk your ears off. Our show covers a lot of banter-worthy goofiness inspired by current pop culture, as well as a focused topic, and spans all 4 shows for the week.
This week on the show, we will take a look at brand new social etiquette rules for 2023. What has changed? Do we agree with them? We will find out. This week, and for several weeks really, we will be going over the new 2023 Etiquette Guide as published by the New York Times. We're going to go over 194 rules in seven different sections. Seven different sections. We are going to read these rules in full and then decide if we agree or not. So today we're going to start going over the new etiquette rules for like friends and romantic relationships. We're just going to cover the first 11 rules today.
I just want to know why you didn't actually read what it's titled.
Okay, it's titled Friends and Lovers, but I didn't really want to say lovers.
Why?
But now I've said it twice.
Listen, Lil Jon, East Side Boys, and Usher.
I've never enjoyed
They did it first.
That word. I just don't know why.
Why?
Grosses me out. Weirds me out. I don't know.
Oh, but you'll talk about AIs and the chatbot and Bing and blah, 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 and how they're going to take over the world. No, that should gross you out. Good grief.
You stay on topic.
There's nothing natural about that.
We have moved on. We're in a new section. Just chill out.
I can't. Don't you know me?
Rule number 1, new etiquette guide.
Follow directions quickly.
Rule number 1, you don't have to read everyone's book. It says life is finite. I almost said finite.
Life is finite.
Life is finite.
Finite.
Not infinite, just finite. Life is finite. We can't be expected to spend all of our time metabolizing content by friends or friends of friends. Still, if you encounter someone who has recently produced something creative and you don't feel like telling them you haven't gotten around to engaging with it, say something about how impressive it is that they've created something in the first place. What a feat! With a cheerful hand gesture is always effective. What a feat also works well if you're if you saw your friend's show and hated it. What a feat. But don't overplay your hand and try to get into specifics. But if you do consume their artistic product, send them a nice note and they'll remember it forever. So it's not necessarily just book, but like anything that your friends do. Like
right.
We have a lot of friends that never listen to this show. And for a while, it was pretty offensive. But then we're like, well, you know what? We're not everybody's cup of tea.
Listen. The friends who don't watch the show, I'm not friends with anymore.
It's not true of me. No, I'm much better friends with people who do. Let's put it that way. Number 2. I mean, I guess, do we agree with that one or not? I mean, I agree with it.
I do agree with it. Yeah. You don't. Yes, 100%.
It's okay to celebrate them and that they've done something that they're proud of.
Absolutely. If you don't want to read what I write, if you don't want to listen to the things that I have to say, you don't have to be a jerk about it.
Right.
You don't have to be like, I ain't got time for that. Don't like 100 other people do podcasts. Yeah, okay, and so what?
You don't have to lie about it either. Like, oh yeah, listen to it.
But you can still be proud. You can still be like, hey, you're doing something that you love. That's cool. Good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So starting off strong. Good one.
Yeah.
Number 2, you may callously cancel almost any plans up to 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., there's still ample time for your friend, if they so choose, to text around and find another dinner companion. But by 3, they almost certainly will be alone for the night. And then there's a caveat that says this doesn't apply if you want to cancel on someone who is cooking for you. In that situation, you have to tell them the night before.
Okay.
So like, we're going to go to dinner, we're going to go to a movie or whatever, and it's like almost 2 p.m. I'm like, I just can't do it today. I'm allowed to cancel up to 2 p.m. and not cause you any undue stress Like, all right, I'll just go with so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. But if it's like 3 o'clock, movie starts at 5, dinner starts seating at 6 or whatever, you're like, this is just too close. How am I going to get anybody?
That's only an hour.
No, this was 2 different possibilities of an evening, not at once.
All right. Movie starts at 5, dinner's at 6. Dang, okay.
What do you think about that one?
I mean, I think it's a good rule.
I feel like it's too late. I feel like if you're going to cancel for something that's happening that night before noon, between 8 and noon, you got to cancel. Like 2 p.m.
I think it depends on the person, honestly. Like, I really do. I can see me canceling on, like, my closest friends, I can see me canceling on them later and them being understanding and okay with it. But someone who I'm kind of just a casual friend with and we have just a random, hey, let's go grab dinner, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then yes, the earlier the better. Does that make sense? Because I feel like with the people that I'm closer to,
it'd be cool
you're about to make a smart aleck comment right now.
Met them in the supermarket or, hey, I haven't seen you forever. Let's get coffee on Friday. Then you leave the parking lot and you text them, hey, never mind, I can't do that. And you drive away and never see them again. Is that what you're talking about?
I would never do that. I wouldn't. Okay. I know myself well enough to know that if I'm like, yeah, we should do coffee sometime. And in my head, I'm thinking, we're never going to do coffee. I'm never having coffee with you. Then before we leave that conversation and they're like, yeah, you want to do coffee on Friday? I'm going to be like, I'll get back to you. That's going to be my response.
That's a soft no. But I'm going to give you false hope that one day, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, it's been done to me too. So
I'm not judging you because I've been stuck in those situations where I wound up having to go and I'm like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
I now know why we're not better friends.
Mm-hmm. But I have a really good friend who, my friend Angel and I, we have gone through both of our divorces at exactly the same time. And she lives 6 houses up from me now. She has 5 kids. My boys have actually babysat her kids since before either of us went through our divorce. So we do life together every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Her kids now call me Aunt Megan. That's just, and so I can see me at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 4:30 calling her and saying, I can't come over for dinner tonight.
No, okay. I could see that.
And she would be like, okay, that's cool.
I guess, yeah.
Someone who I'm closer to and I'm doing life with regularly, I can see me kind of canceling very last minute and them being understanding about it, as opposed to more of a casual friend who I don't see regularly. Yeah, you need to give that person a little more notice.
Yeah, I agree. All right, number 3. Don't be loudly naive about dating apps if you're in a relationship. It says your single friends have likely put up with a host of your well-intended yet annoying behaviors. That time you invited your significant other to tag along without asking. Those other times you offered to set them up, with their significant others' employed friends when you talk through burps. Your friends might be asking basic questions about their newfangled, I'm sorry. Well, what happened here? The sentence messed up on me. You may think that asking basic questions about their newfangled dating apps, I skipped a whole line. So which way do you swipe up again? Shows interest and engagement in their love lives, but your wide-eyed curiosity could just as easily come across as patronizing and as a subtle reminder of your own blissful insulation from the dumpster fire that is app dating. So it's basically like, don't pry into people's app dating habits, essentially. Like, how does this work? You know what I mean? When you're already married and in a relationship.
That's fair.
You gonna get into the apps?
You read through that and I'm just like, I'm mad that none of my friends who are married have tried hooking me up with their spouses' coworkers. Like, why is no one like, why?
Doesn't your husband have a brother?
So Oriel says app dating is a dumpster fire. And I will say there have been several occasions, I shouldn't say several, like three occasions where Facebook has the dating section.
Why is it recommending it to me when I'm marked as married?
I have no idea.
That shouldn't
because you're
be
friends
a thing.
with me, I guess.
That
I
shouldn't
don't
be
know.
a thing. It shouldn't be
I don't know.
recommended to me.
Listen, it started recommending it to me right around the time that Chris and I separated, before I was really open about it or anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how does Facebook know? How does it know?
They are listening.
Anyway, but 3 times, I honestly think it's only been 3 times that I've gone over there and I've looked and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. This is not for me. And I instantly log out and I'm like, nope, can't do it. Cannot. It is not. So we talked about like reels and TikToks and just the mindless scroll that you get into. Okay, but at least with reels and TikToks, like every 5 are really good. Being like looking at these dating apps is the most discouraging thing in the world. I'm like, is this really what I've got to work with? No, thank you. I'm done. I will be a cat lady for the rest of my life, even though I hate cats. Like,
oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, also I have really crappy friends because y'all ain't setting me up with anybody. So.
Okay, next up, number 4, I think. When shopping with a friend, don't cut them in the rack.
Huh?
This is, as in, don't.
Please don't cut me in the rack while shopping with me.
This is like if.
You okay?
Don't like try and swipe things from them like you're opposing shoppers, I'm assuming is what this is. It also says you should also offer to let them try on the things you've decided not to buy.
OMG. Hold on. We live in Clovis because I immediately, shopping with a friend, I'm thinking grocery shopping because that's the only shopping that we got to do around here.
No, the rack.
I didn't even consider.
Clothing rack.
Yeah, I didn't think clothing rack.
You never got to that point in your brain. It's like they're definitely talking about. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, this is an interesting one.
I already don't like this one. This one is kind of dumb.
No, another one. We skipped that one.
Okay.
Clearly, that one's not important.
Okay, good.
This one's an interesting one, and just bear with me with the way it's worded. Don't use friends as foreplay. Bear with me. If, as a couple, you start an argument in the middle of a group of friends, that group of friends may start looking a lot like potential allies. Resist that urge. Do not attempt to shore up support. Don't ask if you are clearly in the right. Continue debating with your significant other if you must, but leave the others out of it. Your addiction to argument isn't everyone else's kink. So it's talking about those couples that like love to fight so they can have the makeup afterwards, kind of thing. Don't involve other people in your weird arguments in public. Do we agree? Yes. Okay. Let's
100%. Yeah.
Next up, never wake up your significant other on purpose, ever. And don't turn on the lights when they're asleep. Jet lagged and want to talk? Don't do it. Think someone is coming in to kill you? Work it out yourself.
What? What? No. I disagree 100%. I totally disagree with this.
Work it out yourself.
Nope. Sorry. Listen.
Babe, I think I heard someone come into the front door. All right, there's a knife in your bed table. Go for it.
I totally, listen.
Now, when it comes to like you are getting up at 6 and he doesn't have to get up till 7 or vice versa, whatever. Yeah. Do your best to like not wake them up the extra hour. If they're going to get that extra hour, let them have the extra hour.
Sure. Be considerate.
Right.
However, I'm also going to say, as someone who sleeps by herself now, like there's nothing that would make me happier than to be woken up by somebody that I love. Whether it's 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't care. You're there to see me? Cool. Wake me up. Like, I'm being dead serious.
No, I get you. Yeah. Trombone Dalek says, so when my mother noticed our shed was on fire, she shouldn't have woken up my father?
Apparently not.
She's the one who noticed. She can get a hose. Come on.
Whatever.
So yeah, this one goes too far, clearly.
Okay, but so then Trombone also says, nah, it's dangerous to wake me up because I wake up swinging. Okay, so here's the thing.
Sleep fighter.
Right? But wouldn't a person, because this is speaking significantly about your spouse, your significant other.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would hope spouse.
Right. So the person who would be waking you up in that way should know you well enough to know, like, the proper way to wake you up.
If you wake up swinging, then the way to wake you up is to dive in a deep hug.
Right.
Where they can't swing at you anyway.
Exactly.
You're too close.
Exactly.
And then you just whisper in their ear, wake up or I'll kill you.
No, then you just whisper in their ear, good morning. And it's like, oh, okay.
I peed the bed. I need your help changing the sheets.
Yeah. Listen, I do not agree with this at all. At all.
Oh, man.
My friends better not be walking up in my house waking me up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right. But we should roll it back to significant others should be considerate, but when there's a need to wake someone up. Someone's coming in to kill you. Wake me up, please.
Listen, that 100%, yes. If there is a need, you wake me up. End of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
A need, you wake me up. Be considerate. But at the same time, like, if you just want to spend time with me in the morning and you got an extra 30 minutes, wake me up.
I guess it depends on the night before for me. But sure.
Okay.
And Daedra
Whatever.
definitely wouldn't agree with you on that. If I woke Daedra up half an hour early before her alarm was supposed to go off, she would wake up swinging.
Really?
Yes. She desperately needs that time.
Man. Guess I don't know. I'm alone in this one.
Now, she'll gladly stay up forever at night with me.
Okay.
But in the morning, she's the opposite.
Okay.
Can't be done.
That's fair.
Can't be done. All right, next up. While on a date, if you find yourself talking a lot, ask yourself, when was the last time I asked a question? Says there's no need to keep a tally or trade queries back and forth like it's a tennis match, but do at least be aware of how long you're holding the floor and take care to share it. Yeah.
Oriole says, what's a date? LOL. I'm with you there. I don't know. No, I do. I mean, I even think about this with just conversation with friends.
I think about this on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
You go on tirade? No, I'm sorry.
I do.
We both do. We both go on long stretches. We're like, you know what? She hasn't talked in a while. Maybe I should shut up.
Yeah, we both
What do
get
you
in our
think, Will?
heads and we're like, yeah, we've been talking a lot. Okay, and now I'm going to be quiet. That's fair.
It's acceptable to tell any kind of lie in order to leave a drinks date. If the conversation is so painful you're considering making up a story about a sick animal, your date will probably feel relieved. That's what it says.
No. Here's the thing. If I am on a date with someone and it's become so painful that I need to leave, chances are I don't have a huge investment with this person. And so in that way, I'm just going to be really honest. What?
I'm just waiting.
In that way, I'm just going to be really honest. If it's not going anywhere on this first drinks date, if the conversation is painful, I'm not going to have a second date. I don't have an emotional connection with this person.
Sure.
So I'm going to look at them and I'm going to say, listen, this isn't going all that great. Let's end it and hopefully we both have a better night. This has been fun, but not real fun. See you later.
Okay. I mean, I was about to kind of disagree with you, but like Oriole in the chat, I've never been a single adult, so I don't know. But Oriole in the chat says, yeah, I'd rather have someone be honest with me. I'm with Bo on this. I'm thinking, wouldn't that destroy that person? Like, I feel like it would destroy me.
But I feel like what would end up happening if I make up a lie, like there's an emergency at my house, my kids are going crazy. I don't know. If I make up a lie, that leaves the door open and they're just going to continue messaging me. And eventually I'm going to have to say,
at that point, you just ghost them and then they'll get it.
That ghosting someone is, to me, ghosting someone is the worst thing you could ever do.
I think,
because then I'm like, did they die?
I feel like I would much rather be ghosted by a first date person.
No.
Than have them say, you know what, this date kind of sucks.
Nope. No. And here's the thing. And there's going to be a whole group of kids that are going to say, a whole group of people that are going to say, yeah, I would rather be ghosted than you be honest with me. But what do you hear more about? You hear these awful dating stories about how someone ghosted someone else and you never heard from them again. But you don't really hear about how, yeah, he was real honest with me and he told me that he didn't see it going anywhere and the conversation wasn't that great. You don't hear about those stories. Why? Because it didn't cause emotional damage like ghosting did.
Or that just doesn't happen.
No, I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen.
At least not as often.
Listen, you want to ghost me? You going to become a ghost. Because I'm going to hunt you down.
All right. Well, I don't have the experience to stand behind my thoughts, so I will secede. Because everybody in the chat is agreeing with you. So I will back down on my thoughts there.
Yeah,
so there you go. So we're saying we don't agree with this, though. Don't lie at all. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I don't have a dog currently dying at the vet.
Right.
This date just sucks. You suck. I'm out. Flip the bird. Walk off.
Yeah, sure.
That's better than lying. No.
It's better than then having to deal with, hey, was your dog okay? Hey, what ended up happening? No, at least then it ends it, and you know.
Gotcha. Okay. It's closure.
Yeah.
As uncomfortable as it might be, closure.
It's closure.
And that in itself has some inherent comfort in it.
100%.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Number 9. If someone starts telling you a story that you've heard before, you have 2 seconds to tell them before you're locked in to have to hear it all again.
Okay.
Interject with, oh my gosh, that was hilarious, or truly horrific, or unbelievable, you've told me. But if you don't say it within the allotted time, you just have to listen to them tell the whole thing again. And if you're in a larger group, you just have to listen, period, because there's going to be people in the group that haven't heard it.
Okay, so that last part I definitely agree with. If you're in a larger group, yeah, you listen to it again. Laugh a little louder this time. Make your friend feel a little better, you know. But I'm not going to say 2 seconds because, like, I have had instances where someone has told me a story and they've made it to that first pause point in their story. And leading up to that pause point, I'm nodding to let them know, yes, I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? I know where you're going. I'm nodding with enthusiasm, not just with the, yeah, I'm listening, I hear you. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like you're nodding at me right now.
Yeah. I'm actually remembering something that I'm excited to share.
Okay. And then that first pause point, I'll say something along the lines of, yeah, you actually told me that earlier. Or
yeah, I agree with that. I feel like you can get to the point of even be like, oh, right, I remember you did tell me this before.
Yeah.
And then go. Then you need to add your own thing, just like it kind of says here, like, that was a ridiculous story, or that's crazy.
And you listen, like, you gotta
give them that boost,
and start rehearsing what you're gonna say now, because like you can't look at the person and just be like, yeah, you already told me that. Well, dang. Okay. I thought that it was really important and funny. Obviously,
Right.
that's why I'm telling you a second time. But
you can't be curt
clearly you
about
don't
it.
care. Thanks.
Can't be curt about it. You
See
gotta
if I-
still be on board with them. I'm excited about the story, but I've already heard it.
Right. See if I tell you anything ever again.
But here's what I was thinking of. My father-in-law tells me the same stories
He's notorious for that.
over and over and over
Yeah.
again. But what he's notorious for is that even if you tell him, oh, right, you told me this the other day, he goes, yeah. And then he keeps telling it again. He still tells the whole story again, even when you told him, you told me this already.
So that's when you just walk away. That's when my ex-father-in-law would do the same thing, and it got to the point where I'd just walk away.
That's being like, you know what? This isn't working out. Put the bird, walk off.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Okay.
Look at your phone. Oh my gosh, the dog has an emergency. You don't have a dog. I know.
So we agree with this one, but with a little more leeway than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Just as long as
Yeah.
you're nice. Okay.
Yeah.
10. No, we're going to skip this one. This one doesn't have anything to do with us. 11.
Okay. I don't like you skipping ones, especially when I can't see them and agree
It
that.
gets into more uncomfortable topics that really don't need to be covered on our show.
Whatever.
Number 11 is the last one for this show here.
Okay.
When another human is present, don't talk to your animal in the private voice that you use when alone together. I miss your fuzzy pumpkins. Miss your fuzzy pumpkins. Want you go outside? Don't do that when people are around.
I have
Fuzzy
So
pumpkins got some duties outside.
many-
We gotta go do this.
inappropriate thoughts right now.
Inappropriate thoughts.
Any inappropriate thoughts.
What? Why? Well, share one of them. Don't just leave us hanging.
When here I'm gonna reread the thing again.
When another human is present, don't talk to your animal in the private voice you use when alone together.
Listen, I can't help but think like, okay, this is just my brain. Good grief, I'm sorry. I can't help but think animal in terms of like. I can't on the show.
Yeah,
I can't on the
You're
show.
gonna finish that sentence. That's gonna not be inappropriate.
I can't on the show.
All right, just don't do it, guys. And that's all for today. Next time, the second half of the new etiquette rules for friends and romantic relationships. Before we wrap up our Monday show, what's a good verse to send us out on today?
Should I be reading it? I don't think I should.
Maybe
The memory
not. I'll read
verse. Go ahead.
Memory verse for Monday, February 20th is 1 Corinthians 15:33. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. This week and for several weeks, I can't say that. This is the second day.
This week.
Several weeks. And for several weeks, really, we are going over the new 2023 etiquette guide as published by the New York Times. And we're going to go over 194 rules in total in 7 different sections. And we're going to read these rules in full and then decide if we agree or not. And today we are going to finish up going over the new etiquette rules for friends and romantic relationships.
Friends and lovers.
Friends and lovers.
Lovers.
All right, starting with number 12. On a date, all individuals present, all of them, all on the date, present should gently and politely compete to pay the entire bill. Still, the historical mandate is hard-coded into most people and should be considered if you... nope, not reading that rule. Holy moly. Whew.
And we all know what it's meaning.
Whew. My gracious. Well, it's the way they wrote it. It's gross. It's even worse. I'm just going to slide it over to your screen. Don't read. It's the top rule. Last 5 words.
That one you'll slide over, but when
Just
I
look
asked...
at it. Just look. Top rule, bottom. Sorry, anybody listening or watching, we can't put, it's family friendly stream. Can't put it on there, but most faith should be enough.
It's worse than anything that I've ever said or thought about saying or was gonna say or accidentally said or anything. Anything.
Anyway, that aside.
I feel violated.
That aside, the overall rule, on a date, everybody should gently and politely compete to pay the entire bill. Do you agree with that?
No.
Yeah.
I think that probably needs to be clipped, just FYI.
Oh
my gosh, I'm like...
Scandalized. Never did I ever think Mo would ever get scandalized.
I can't.
Hot. I need to get up. I need to jog.
Oh my gosh. Need a shower.
Oh, man.
Heavens to Betsy.
So anyway, going back to the actual who should pay. I don't know. I would feel, again, this is me not being an adult who's never had a date before, like outside of marriage. Like whenever we're paying for a bill, it's always out of our joint account. So it's not like I get any credit.
Yeah.
But I still kind of feel like if I'm going on a date, I feel like I would be the one to pay and like I should be the one to pay.
So here's the thing.
I don't know if I could justify that.
Here's the thing. I think that I have my own rules for who should be paying. And really, there's 2 things that I think you need to take into consideration. Number 1, the person who initiated the date should be the one to pay.
I like that.
If I asked someone out on a date, I need to be of the understanding that I'm going to be the one to pay.
Yeah, it should be I'm inviting you to join me as I go to this place.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will cover it for you. I like that.
That's
I think that's
my
a better rule.
Personal rule. Second, if there isn't an understanding, if that's not your rule, if you don't want to say, you know what, I asked you out on the date, I'm going to pay. Don't wait until the very end when the check comes and make it this awkward. No, I'm going to pay. No, I'm going to pay. No, I'm going to pay. No, when you sit down.
Oh, I was just about to. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you sit down and you go to have a conversation, just get it out of the way. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to be constantly thinking about it during the entire dinner. Who's going to pay? Is he going to pay?
Right.
Am I going to pay? I don't. And then your date, honestly, has just been tainted. Have you really listened to any of the conversation that you've just had with this person?
Gotcha.
Or are you constantly thinking about, all right, how am I going to say that I'm going to pay for the check? No, sit down, take care of business, get it out of the way, deal with it, figure out who's going to pay. Are we going to split this? Whatever. And then enjoy your date.
Splitting it should be a common thing.
Sure.
I feel like that should be the standard.
Or if you're going to have a drink and dessert, then maybe you pay for your drink and dessert. If your date isn't ordering a drink, like an alcoholic beverage, something that costs more than just a soda, you know, if they're not ordering an alcoholic beverage and a dessert, they're just ordering their meal, maybe an appetizer. If you're ordering excess amount of food from what your date is ordering, then you offer to pay for the excess.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a margarita, but can you put that on a separate check, please?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Bowden 1978 says if they think the meal is free versus paying themselves, it will change what they order. They will.
Yeah.
I mean, Silver says, I hated dating, that is all. I think that the second half of this should completely be removed from the equation, which is
For
what
sure.
which is what it's mandating. It's saying there should be no physical expectation based on who is paying for the meal. So let's just erase that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, making the offer is nice, and I think you and I are in agreement. That needs to be tweaked.
The rule is if you invite the date, if you initiate the date, you're paying.
Offer to pay, at least.
I mean, I think the other person should still offer, but like you need to go into the date with the understanding.
No. I'm saying you should offer to pay. Like you should say, I'll take care of this.
Yeah.
If they put up an argument like, no, let's split it or do our half.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
if you're inviting them, expect I'm treating you to this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Number 13. It's never too late to send a condolence note. So this one's like a longer explanation. So it says, your friend who is bereaved or suffering lives in time differently than you do. You learned about the death or the diagnosis at a particular moment and felt a pang of sympathy, and you were tinged, if you were honest, with relief that you evaded loss this time, as well as a teensy bit of actuarial superiority. You don't smoke that much, you don't drink that much, you don't check your phone while driving very often, but you feel for your friends, so you put condolence note on a list of other to-dos. The health insurance thing, the birthday gift, the financial aid application, and there it sits, continually shuffled into the bottom of the agenda, reprimanding you as the days become weeks. Your friend, meanwhile, is in the midst of an alternative timeline that began with a death or diagnosis and unfolds in a way that refutes clocks or calendars. Spending long periods in a hospital is like being on the moon. Caring for a sick loved one is like fasting, an ungrounding exercise of devotion and deprivation. Recovering from serious illness is like landing in a foreign country at night in the fog, a terrifying muddle with no clear horizon. But just because your friend is unmoored by grief, don't make the mistake of believing she isn't keeping track. Perhaps as a way to rebalance the scales of cosmic unfairness, some crude Old Testament part of your friend's mind has assumed the role of condolence accountant, tabulating the incoming gestures and cards, and she will remember, possibly as long as she lives, who offered to walk the dog, to make the dinner, who sent the hummus platter. She will remember certain condolence notes as surprisingly meaningful and others as dashed off obligatory, like a gift purchased from an airport store. She may especially disdain those notes containing the phrase, "I can't imagine." Your friend doesn't care about your guilt, your excuses, your schedule. To her, your condolence note, even a late one, could be a gift from a parallel universe where love and friendship can be reliably counted in days off, date nights, and coffee dates. She doesn't need a store-bought card or a postage stamp. A text will do. So, that was the whole thing.
For the most part, I agree with this.
Yeah.
100%. If it's your friend and you have a relationship with this person, then you should know how they would receive it. Mm-hmm. Because grief especially comes in waves. And so while it's saying that there shouldn't be an expiration date on sending condolences, we need to understand that sometimes the grief is hitting a little harder. And so if you have accidentally waited to send your condolences for whatever the situation is, coming back months later or whatever and saying, "I'm so sorry, I've been thinking about you. You've been on my mind. I haven't forgotten," that may actually hurt and do a little more damage than just letting it go for a little bit, letting it ride.
I think that might be negated, though, if you wait a year. If you wait to like the anniversary of the death, the loved one's passing, and then say, "Hey, look, I know we never really talked when this happened, but now that it's been a year," number one, you know that it's been a year here.
Yeah.
Because you have been keeping track.
Right.
Number two, I just wanted to share what I didn't share then.
Yeah.
I feel like that significant anniversary.
Right. I can
would
agree.
Open that door that maybe
Sure.
you didn't take that first time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Now, never too late. I feel like if you're like 2 years later and you're like, oh, hey, sorry, your mom died or whatever. At that point, yeah.
Especially if you're an active part of that person's life.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't spoke to them.
Right.
Or you were speaking very minimally during the time. And then there's a death. And then 2 years later, your friendship is rekindled. Then yeah, absolutely. You can then say, oh, wow, I'm so sorry.
Or even if just like if your acquaintances long distance or whatever, and you didn't even hear about it.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 years later, like, wait, your mom, what?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's fine.
For sure.
But if it's like in this situation where it's been on your to-do list for 5 years now, like at that point, just...
Can I just say, like, at that point, you just need to swallow the pill that you're kind of a garbage friend. I'm just going to say it.
You're right. You're right.
I kind of lived this past year. And it was a hard pill to swallow, but it was a necessary one.
I agree. Mm-hmm. All right. So, mostly agree with some caveats on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Number 14, never send an edible arrangement.
Wasn't expecting arrangement to come next.
Never said that either. Like, fruit roll up that tastes like cough medicine and BO. It's terrible. Things that are appropriate in any situation. Babka, money, if there are unexpected costs to deal with. A smoked turkey is especially nice for a grieving family. It can feed a lot of people. It's delicious, cold or warm. It can be eaten on its own in a sandwich, a salad, hot open face. They really go on about the turkey here. But never send an edible arrangement. Yeah. Well, not enough. Not for fruit.
I mean, so what is their reasoning for not sending an edible arrangement?
I guess it's just saying it's not an appropriate thing to send anymore, I guess. It's like, don't send them a weird fruit basket. Send
what have they got against Sherry's Berries?
I don't know.
Like,
well, that's different.
They're trying to, like, hold on.
That's different.
Never send an edible arrangement. Whoever wrote this article, I feel like is about to get a lawsuit filed against them for loss of money from several different companies.
Well, there's only one company called Edible Arrangements.
Well, but still. Wow. I'm not in agreement with this one. Send me
never? I would enjoy an edible arrangement.
Yeah. Like for my birthday? Heck yeah. Send me an edible arrangement for my birthday.
Shoot.
Heck yeah.
Little cantaloupe balls and watermelon flowers. I'm all over it.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that you know I'm a creative person. You know I like food and you're concerned about my health. Send me an edible arrangement for my birthday. Please.
All right. We don't agree with that one.
No.
15. It's okay to ghost after one date. We talked about this yesterday.
No, it's not.
It's not okay to ghost after one date.
It is not okay. Don't do it.
Don't end the evening with a non-committal, let's do this again sometime. End the evening with a, you know what?
This didn't go as we thought it was going to.
This was an okay time.
Yeah.
But
I don't see this going anywhere.
I don't see this going anywhere.
Exactly.
I don't think we're compatible here.
People are in therapy because they didn't have closure that they needed within relationships. Listen, I deal with it myself at 37 years old. Relationships from over 20 years ago that I never got closure on. I still kind of deal with it where I'm like, well, whatever happened? What was wrong? Just don't do it. Be considerate. Sure, it might hurt or it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but so what? Deal with it for the 5 seconds it's going to take you to say, sorry, as opposed to the lifetime that person's going to have to deal with being ghosted by you and not knowing why.
Thank you for the follow, Bowden, 1978. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Bowden, maybe? Bowden. I agree with that, especially reading more of this. It's like, at this point, neither of you has put so much energy into the interaction that it warrants a formal ending. I mean,
whatever.
It takes a lot of energy just to go on a date.
A first date.
Yeah.
A first date.
Yeah.
I'm not going on a first date with a stranger. No, we've communicated. We've talked at this point.
Probably texted a lot already.
Exactly.
Yeah. In the lead up.
Yeah.
You got to give some sort of closure.
Right.
Can't just ghost. So disagree. 16. Right. This continues this. If you ghost someone, stay gone forever. Now, this I would agree with. If you do ghost somebody, do not try to sneak back into their life.
Okay, and here's the thing. That's absolutely unrealistic when you live in like a town that we live in.
I don't know.
Because eventually you're going to see the person.
Oh, walk the other direction. I don't see it as a problem.
See that toxic person?
They don't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to them. Let's pretend like we don't see each other. I feel like that's going to happen.
No, see, and I can't do that. That is not the kind of person that I am.
Why? What would you do?
I mean,
would
at
you
the
force yourself to talk to them?
No, at the very least, I'm going to give a smile like oh, I see you. I am acknowledging you. Cool.
At that point, it'll come off as, oh, your life must be really hard since I dumped you, since I ghosted you. You know what I mean? Like that.
But again,
don't smile at them, pretend like you don't know them.
Again, that just goes back to a reason to not ghost someone.
I know, but that's not the situation.
Because eventually you're going to see them.
If you did, this is what you do now.
Gosh, okay. Well, then I'm not weighing in on this one because for me, there's never a reason to ghost ever.
Okay.
I will say this. Here's my closure. If I get ghosted by someone, if you ghost me, then there's no way that there could have ever been anything because you are proving to me that you are so stinking immature that you can't have a hard and difficult conversation for just a couple minutes to tell me it's not going to work out. Cool.
Right. The situation that it gives here.
I've never been ghosted. I don't know why I'm getting heated.
Is ghosting someone and then coming back several years later to request like a favor or something. That's what the situation they're bringing
I wish somebody would. I wish somebody
would. A fool would.
I wish somebody would ghost me, not being good enough. Like, yeah, come on, let's fight. We gonna go at it. We gonna go rounds.
Oh man! All right, 17. Don't wait for the right time to break up with somebody.
Just break up with them.
Just break up with them.
For sure. 100%.
There are fewer breakup blackout dates than you think. If you think it's compassionate to wait until January 2nd to dump them, it just shows that you were planning to do it all through the holidays.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Just you rip the Band-Aid off, let them try and salvage whatever they got left of the holidays or wherever you're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I just lived this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what date you do it on or how long you wait or.
It's never going to be easier.
It's never going to be easy. It's always going to hurt. Yeah. It's always going to suck, but.
Yep.
You got to do it.
Okay. We're skipping number 18.
Can you slide it over? Because I wanted to see why you skipped number 10 last time. Okay.
You welcome?
Yeah. Cool.
Like that one? Mm-hmm. You want to go over it? Mm-mm. All right, then. Number 19. If your friend is dating someone you seriously object to, you have one shot to sit your pal down and say so.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I was still stuck on 18. I need you to go back and reread it, please.
If your friend is dating someone that you seriously object to,
okay,
you do not like and do not think is good for your friend.
Okay.
You have one shot, one opportunity
to seize everything you ever wanted
with one opponent. You have one shot to sit your pal down and say so, to make your case.
Okay.
The conventional wisdom has been that unless your friend is being hurt, keep your opinion to yourself because it will damage your relationship. Our feeling is that you can share your reservations, but you only have one chance to do it. After that, your friend decides what they want to do, and you can't bring up your grievances again unless they ask.
Okay, and I'm going to put a caveat with this. Maybe that's not a caveat. I'm going to put an addition to this.
An addendum. Let's go.
An addition.
That's what an addendum is.
Okay. So, furthermore, when the inevitable happens, if the inevitable happens, and they break up, and everything that you thought, everything that you laid out ends up coming true, you can't look at your friend and go, see, I told you.
Told you so. Told you he was a scumbag.
Should have listened to me. I don't feel sorry for you. Oh, well.
Should be the other way. It's like, I'm sorry it didn't go the way you wanted. And that's really all you got to say.
I'm sorry. That's all you really got to say. Because if you look at me and say, I'm sorry it didn't go the way you wanted, I'm going to be like, what the heck is that supposed to mean? You might as well just
it
say
it didn't go the way you wanted, and I'm sad about that.
Yeah, and but are you? But are you really? Or are you just
sad
saying
for you?
It didn't go the way you wanted, huh?
That's not what I said.
Could have saw that one coming. I think somebody might have warned you.
I'm sorry you're not a better listener.
Whatever.
Okay. All right, number 20. Oh my gosh. I am so much in favor of this one, Mo.
Okay.
Don't describe TikToks. It's more boring than describing dreams. Just show them the TikTok.
That's
Send
fair.
it to them. Don't describe it. Oh, I have had to sit through so many people telling me about a TikTok and trying to make it like, this is so funny because this happened and then this happened. I'm like, I'm not seeing it with you.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so funny.
I think the only time that I have done that is when I'm like, hey, have you seen that TikTok where that girl? And then...
Right, and like trying to find it in your brain, sure.
Right.
But just not like, this is going to be entertaining for you.
Yeah.
Let me describe this.
Yeah. No.
I think the only time like I can justify that is maybe, I know there's like sermon clips and things like that go on, and some of them go viral. And like, if you can remember all of that is being said, I don't really need to see it if you remember it correctly, because it's nothing special being seen.
Sure.
You know, it's just a guy on a stage. But
right.
Just send me the TikTok. There's no reason you can't just send it to me.
For real.
If you liked it that much, you favorited it or hearted it or something, you can find it really quickly.
Okay, and here's an addendum to that one.
Yeah.
If someone is describing that TikTok to you in nauseam, instead of just standing there listening, go, you know what? Why don't you just send it to me?
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to laugh along with you. Can you please?
You know what? This sounds like it would be really funny. Can I see it?
Right?
Instead of you continuing on. Mm-hmm. All right. 21. Gift randomly. This is partly because I can never remember anyone's birthday, but I like giving people's gifts as soon as I find something that may amuse them, and I want them to read or hear rather than waiting for some societally designated occasion. It feels less contractual this way, and the things I like giving, novelty t-shirts, hyper-specific vintage mugs, old issues of funny magazines, all this kind of stuff. Rarely raised to the gravitas of like a birthday or a holiday gift. You know,
okay,
just a random gift.
I can see that. I can see the argument there.
A physical manifestation of, I was thinking about you.
Sure. For someone who, like, we talked about our love languages a few weeks ago, and gifts was 0 for me. That's when we looked at the percentages. Right. Yeah.
Right.
A literal 0%. The gift of giving for my love language. So for me, and we talked about this, I expect a gift on my birthday and Valentine's Day and Christmas. I expect a gift on those days. You don't have to buy me gifts any other time.
That's why.
However, I will say, like, if you're at the store and you see my favorite candy bar and it just, let me grab that candy bar for Mel, and you're about to see me or whatever,
Right.
Hey, I was just at Albertsons and here's a payday. Cool. Thanks. You thought about me, but don't go grab me a t-shirt.
That says I like paydays?
And then go out of your way to find me? Because we weren't already hanging out or anything. Just to give me a t-shirt on a random Tuesday. Like, I might find that a little weird. And then I might be like...
Don't buy me Old Bay Goldfish and then immediately drive to my house.
because I'm probably not wearing a bra and it'll be super awkward when I open the door.
Because I thought you were the DoorDash guy.
Cannon's all, no, Mom, it's Mr. Matt. What the heck?
I was excited.
doing here?
I'm sorry. I was excited to get it to you. I'm like, I'm already out. Let's just go.
And then for weeks, you're left questioning and wondering, like, why was that so weird?
Right.
I brought her a gift, and she was incredibly short with me because I'm standing there inappropriately attired.
That's
Good
so
grief.
All right, last one here. If you're real friends, you accommodate the most COVID careful among you. There's no more text to this one. So that's how that is. So if you have someone who you're friends with who is very COVID cautious, let them be and
I feel like
help
this
put
is
them at ease.
a hot button topic, so I'm not going to say anything, and we're going to move on.
No, I wanted to actually talk about it because this is the last one anyway.
Okay.
So I feel like things have changed, and I had this realization actually this last Wednesday, because this last Wednesday, 2 people in our Bible study were wearing masks. Mm-hmm. And this was like the first time where I didn't immediately get like, why are they wearing masks? Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't like skeptical. It was like, oh, they must like be sick. Mm-hmm. And so they're trying to protect us. And I felt more like empathetic about it and even grateful for it than I have through the entirety of the COVID thing.
Right. I get that.
And so I feel like I'm starting to feel like we're coming out of the time where it's like semi-politicized and divisive. And it's more just about like, okay, we know these things are out there. Even if we don't think that this is a method of really protecting you, if it gives them comfort,
Sure.
who am I to be like, you're stupid?
That I can
like
absolutely,
you know what I
I
mean?
can totally agree with. And I have to deal with it regularly with kids and coworkers.
Right. I feel like the hot button issue of it is fading away now.
Okay.
Because it's not a politically divisive thing. No one's forcing anybody to do it anymore. It's now just a personal option, which has been going on in like China and other places for decades now.
Right. Absolutely.
I think I'm fine with that.
Okay. But the wording of this one is that you accommodate the most COVID cautious of your friends. And to me, that is saying if I am accommodating them, then if you're wearing a mask, I'm wearing a mask.
I see what you mean.
And for that,
I feel like it's fine to put boundaries on things.
yeah.
Like because you would, as friends, want to accommodate each other.
Sure.
And so if we were to have a discussion about that, and we're like, yeah, I'm not comfortable wearing a mask. Now, I'm perfectly fine if you want to wear a mask, and if you don't want to be close enough to me, I'm perfectly fine us sitting further apart or standing further apart.
Right.
Or doing whatever makes you feel comfortable without forcing me to have to, do things that I don't feel comfortable with. I think that's fair.
Right. But that's not how it's worded.
You're right. It's not worded that way, but I feel like maybe that's kind of, they should have had it, all these have had a paragraph describing what they're talking about, and this one doesn't. I feel like they should have elaborated.
I feel like
But that's kind of how I read it myself.
I feel like this was a personal one thrown in at the very end, and this person apparently feels this
Stop
very
mocking
specific
me.
way, about COVID, and so they just wanted to throw it in there. I'm allowed to wear my mask, and you should too. You should accommodate
Don't
me.
talk to me about it.
Yeah, right?
Just deal.
That's how it feels.
I could understand the reading of that, but
I'm willing to respect my most COVID cautious friends. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to bend my beliefs and opinions to accommodate yours.
okay.
Got it?
Yeah,
Makes sense?
sure.
Understood?
I agree with that. I would just phrase it more nicely, but yeah.
Well,
I will not bend my will to your accommodation.
listen, Megan means strong-willed, and there's a reason my mama named me that.
All right. Well, that's it for today. So next time, we will start on the new etiquette rules for how you interact with strangers and acquaintances. Before we wrap up